back. You're watching The Money Show, and before we move on to our viewer query section, according to the reports, PB Fintech is planning to foray in the health insurance sector, and at the TIE Summit happening in Delhi, we caught up with the Vice Chairman, Alok Bansal. Listen in to an excerpt.
See, I'm not an expert on valuation, to be honest. The company has been doing well. When I say well, it means in terms of numbers, in terms of strategy, in terms of what we are solving for the customer. So that part is sorted. We will continue to do what we are doing in a much deeper way. In terms of communicating investors, I think that's also something we have taken on upon ourselves as founders, that we talk to investors and we communicate our story. So I think these are the only things we can control. Eventually, market, I think, had started to appreciate more and more of what we are trying to build, and market pricing and share pricing is something which, to be honest, we don't even understand how it happens.
Alok, but there are many players who are getting into the insurance distribution business, and how do you plan to then keep your competitive edge up?
No, I think it's a large enough market. There is space for everyone. We welcome people to do what we are doing, but they have to be do it with the same passion. See, the problem is, you talk to anyone, are they coming out with the same passion in terms of solving for middle class, solving for health insurance, solving for the claim process? If yes, they can do what we do. There is no rocket science here. It's just that, it will take time. It is not something which can happen, right? But there is huge space. I mean, we are just a small part of the industry. Industry itself is growing, and there's so much scope to grow further.
Let me ask you one question on, this purported policy development that hasn't really come about. That is, the GST reduction that many industry players, and of course Minister Nitin Gadkari had also asked on health insurance. Do you think if that comes about in the next GST Council meeting or any time soon, how do you think that is going to impact the overall business?
So definitely, see, anything which helps customers take the decision. Now, obviously, GST reduction means the pricing will come down a little bit, which is helpful, but I don't think that's the only thing which is restricting customers to buy these policies today. See, if 18% becomes 5%, 0%, yes, it's a definite saving. But eventually, it's all about trust. You are paying today for a potential future claim. And if you are not sure that you will get that claim, why should you even pay even 5 rupees, leave apart 10,000, 20,000 rupees? So yes, it's a positive step, but I don't think that is the only step which you need to increase the penetration. I mean, there's just too much back-end work which is required today.
One final question before we let you go, and this is what is on everybody's mind, and which is that PB Fintech is looking to get into the healthcare business. If you could throw some light on that, because there was some mention of it during the earnings call as well.
So we did mention it in the earnings call, and we did clarify to the exchanges for the news item which came out a couple of days back. See, we want to ensure the experience of the customer is superior compared to what it is today, while maintaining the cost for the insurance company within a particular limit, right? Today the problem is a person who is walking into a hospital becomes a revenue for that hospital, but it's a cost for the insurance company. Unless they work together, that can't be solved for. Somewhere the claims being the 70% cost for the insurance company is a very important part of how these two entities work together. And our intention is that insurance companies win, customers win, and somewhere if they both win, the penetration will be much higher and policyholder will win. So we are coming from the insurance angle to this, and assets anyone can own. That's not a big problem. We are still a bit away. See, first of all, why is very clear. Why someone should do it, whether it's policyholder, whether it's government, whether it's particular insurance company. The why is clear. What is still is not clear, and how is still a little bit far away. Once we have the clarity, we'll go to the board. As soon as we go to the board, we'll come to the markets, and eventually, obviously, we'll have explanation given to the analyst. My idea.
Do you have a timeline?
I think we should be ready to go to the board in between 4 to 8 weeks, I would say. By the time we'll have some idea of what it takes. After that, yes, it will keep on developing, and the delivery may take a few years, but at least the idea will be clear, or clearer than what it is today, at least.
Tied up very well to the main offering of the companies.
Oh yeah, so from our perspective, we are just thinking of how do we go deeper into customer experience, right? So the reinsurance brokerage thing that we came out with about 6 months back maybe, the whole aim was, can you differentiate the product being offered to the offline customer versus digital customer? Similarly, if you are able to do something with the garage, something with the hospital, it's an additional service to the same customer. So these are very linked in. They are not separate initiatives.
All right, let's get back to the money show and let's get our viewers' financial portfolio queries answered. And I'm joined by Pankaj Mathpal, who's the MD of Optima Money Managers. And Pankaj, welcome back. We will start with Sridhar's question, and that's a question via email. He wants to he has invested some amount in June, and he wants to further elaborate his investment in equity via mutual funds now. He's been investing through direct equity. There is almost 6 lakhs in equity right now that's lying in his demat account, and it's showing a loss of 27,000. I really have no details of what kind of a trade or investment this is, but now he wants to invest this particular amount in mutual funds. I'm assuming that he has bought stocks out of it, and that's the current status of his portfolio where there's a loss of 27,000. But now he wants to approach equity via mutual funds. Again, we don't have more details in terms of timeline, in terms of corpus or any financial goal, which should be the principle of having a strategy laid out in equity when you're investing. But having said that, how can we help him?
Kavita, when Nifty is making new highs every day and Sridhar has made loss in his portfolio, it indicates that one needs access to research. You should have good knowledge about equity shares so that you can build a good portfolio. Otherwise, there are chances you may incur losses. So, mutual fund is a better choice for such investors because these are managed by professionals. So now Sridhar has realized this and the importance of mutual funds. I'll suggest that he should invest in diversified funds. So even I don't know that how long he wants to stay invested, what is his horizon here. But diversified funds like large and mid-cap fund, ICICI Prudential large and mid-cap fund, Motilal Oswal large and mid-cap fund, Kotak multi-cap fund, this kind of funds he can select for his investment. And if the investment horizon is, say, for example, 3 to 5 years, in that case, hybrid funds like balance advantage funds or multi-asset allocation funds can be a better choice.
All right. Let's get connected with Swarna, who's from Chennai, on the phone line with us. Hi, good evening. How are you doing today?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, fine, ma'am. How about you, ma'am?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for
fine,
asking. Sure. So, you want to invest in mutual funds. The amount that you're looking for is 5 lakh lump sum, and that is for the higher education of your children. Time horizon is 8 to 10 years, and you are aware of your risk appetite, and you are an aggressive investor. You want to accumulate almost you want to have 4 to 5 funds. But what's the amount that you are looking at after 8 to 10 years?
Yeah, nearly 50 to 60 lakh now.
50 to 60 lakhs. Okay.
Yes.
Are you also open on doing an SIP over and above this 5 lakh
Yes.
lump sum amount?
Yeah, other than I am doing SIP now.
You
Other
are
than this,
doing
I am
SIP.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So I don't have the details of your SIP portfolio, but we are going to help you strategize this 5 lakh investment in mutual funds. Pankaj, how can you help
Yes,
him?
ma'am.
Kavita, as Mr. Shwana mentioned that he's an aggressive investor, so I'll recommend some diversified funds which have allocation in large cap, mid cap, small cap across the market segments. ICICI Prudential Flexi Cap Fund, Kotak Multi Cap Fund, Mirae Asset Large and Mid Cap Fund, and Motilal Oswal Mid Cap Fund. So these are 4 funds because he wanted to know 4 to 5 funds. So these 4 funds will give you exposure across market segment as well as sectors. So please go ahead with these funds. All the best to you.
All right, Pankaj. Now, Pankaj, what happens is, just like Swarna, a lot of investors send across their questions where they want to invest lump sum, but they already have an existing mutual fund portfolio, where in this case also we saw, but we don't have the details. Yes, in terms of details, we should be having all those informations for you to, strategize it better. But if you're doing a lump sum investment and you already have a portfolio where you're doing an SIP, should you be opting for lump sum investment in those funds itself, or a lump sum investment should be separate?
Not be separate ideally, it should be in the same funds. Okay. If you have suitable funds in your portfolio, then you can top up those funds. But otherwise, one can invest in another funds as well. But I do not have information about his SIP portfolio. So based on his investment horizon and the information he shared about his profile, I suggested these schemes.
All right. I think that will be all on the show also, Pankaj. Thank you so much for taking time out and helping our viewers with their mutual fund portfolio queries. And for the viewers, I'm going to leave them with our WhatsApp number and email ID where you can send across all your investment portfolio questions, be it your investments, your insurance, your tax, credit card, or even a loan paying off strategy that you might want from our experts. So do send across your questions on our WhatsApp number and email ID. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.